China and the European Union should stand firm against protectionism for the sake of a global economic recovery. Vice Premier Wang Qishan made the appeal at the opening in Brussels of a China-EU economic and trade dialogue. Zheng Siwei has more.
Following its first meeting in Beijing a year ago, the high-level China-EU economic and trade dialogue is now underway in Brussels, where the EU is headquartered. The dialogue brings together key policy makers from both sides, including Chinese Vice Premier Wang Qishan and EU Trade Commissioner Catherine Ashton. The EU is China's largest trading partner. Meanwhile, China is the second largest trading partner of the EU. China's customs authorities say trade volume between the two sides grew to over $425 billion in 2008. That's an increase of nearly 20% over the previous year, despite the financial crisis. To continue along this upward trend, Wang Qishan says China and the EU have every reason to avoid protectionism. He warned that protectionism would make the crisis even worse. He noted that trade protectionism during the Great Depression in the 1930s led to a two-thirds contraction in global trade. EU Trade Commissioner Catherine Ashton, co-chairing the dialogue with Wang Qishan, said the EU would remain committed to the free trade. The China-EU economic and trade dialogue is scheduled to last 2 days. Among the major topics under discussions are trade, investment, small and medium-sized companies, customs cooperation, and sustainable development. Zheng Siwei, CCTV.
And let's stay with that story. Economic and trade ties between China and the EU is currently dominated by big companies, but the current round of high-level economic and trade dialogue will serve as a bridge for small and medium-sized companies. That's according to China's Vice Minister of Industry and Information Technology, who, as we see now, is also at the meetings in Brussels.
Firstly, we need to build a dialogue mechanism. Secondly, we need to set up a platform for the cooperation between China and EU small and medium-sized companies. And thirdly, we shall provide necessary assistance for the EU to establish a service center in China for its small and medium-sized companies.